It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. My name's Adam Newell, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm the guy bringing you guys all the weekly interviews and celebrity recaps and everything else from your favorite celebrities and pop culture influencers. But for those of you who do know me, you know that that's not why we're always here, right? Guys, tonight's one of those nights. Tonight we are here to recap The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 5, Episode 15. But before we do, you know how this works. If you haven't already, make sure you like my video, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything, and yeah, I think we can jump right in. All right, guys, so we start off this episode and the women are going to Madeira, Portugal. Yes, they didn't know exactly what that flag was, but yes, our cast trip is to Portugal. So we start this off kind of where we left off, I guess, with Candace finding out that Monique was countersuing her. And for her, she can't seem to figure out how Monique even has the gall to do that. So I guess from what we're getting from this episode, in order to make herself feel better, she's going to buy herself some new luggage. Let's keep it moving. Karen and Monique have the sit down that we've kind of been waiting for, only because there's so much runaround here. It's such a game of telephone, and everyone's telling Monique at this point, or at least Ashley is, that Karen's the one who pushed the domino on the legal bills. Well, I mean, at least Ashley's the one who said Karen pushed the domino on pretty much Candace starting this whole legal action lawsuit thing. But once they sit down, Monique figures out Karen was only just saying, listen, if somebody touched me, I'd be like, security! And it was just a big misunderstanding. But I think Monique knew that from the beginning because that's how this group rolls. Again, it's always a game of telephone, especially with the housewives. I was interested, though, since we're talking about Ashley, you guys brought her up, I was so interested to find out what this letter was and what she was writing about. So Ashley wrote a letter for Monique pretty much stating the altercation that she had with Candace last year. It just, I guess, shows that Candace has exhibited this behavior before, and hopefully it'll get Monique out of trouble, or at least that's what Ashley's trying to do. Now, we know in the upcoming episode that Candace is not going to react well to this, but let's save that for the next episode. We're in Madeira. Okay, now we're in Madeira and the rooms are pretty. I'm so excited for this trip, guys. I've never been to Portugal, so I'm living vicariously through them, and I guess all of us are, especially in 2020 and coronavirus. Whatever, let's get to it. It's been a long flight, so the ladies are going to go to dinner in the Savoy Hotel. They're going to keep it simple, but is it ever really simple? As the ladies are all starting to drink, Karen pulls out milk. She said she has an ulcer, but Ashley quickly calls it out in the confessional that you can't say it's not, but it's probably not an ulcer. It's just the fact that Karen knows when she starts drinking around these ladies, words come out, and then she's held accountable because she spills too much. So if I were Karen, I'd be drinking milk too, to be honest with you, while everybody else is drinking puncha, poom. Listen, Dr. Wendy Osefo said it. Candace rolled with it. She said it. So don't shoot the messenger. I was getting excited though because Wendy's like, guys, I want to tell you something, and I thought it was going to be good, and then she starts with the degrees and I'm like, stop, no more, we don't want to hear about the degrees. But she actually ends up telling us about how she was named Wendy, and it was super special. She was named Wendy after Wendy's? But the way that we get it on The Real Housewives is she was named Wendy after the American Dream. As we keep the conversation going, Dr. Wendy Osefo pretty blatantly just lets Karen know that she put a button on it, and she's done talking about the degree. She's done talking about the Karen wondering what kind of doctor she is, and clamp, it's over. Since they're making fun of the drink and they're calling it poom, whatever, Gizelle asks Ashley, how's your... I can't say that word again. But Ashley says, no, we're doing good. Everything's back to 100%. Giselle obviously questions it because she's like, how did you go in 1 month from 40 to 60%, like confident in your marriage with Michael, to 100%? Karen is sitting off to the side, though, pretty much like, Giselle, you are so messy. And in true Giselle fashion, she is a little bit messy, but that's why we love her on the show, I guess. Honestly, though, before we end the dinner, I have to say, I'm fighting for Dr. Wendy Osefo here. I really like her, but I can't hear about the degrees anymore. And there's a little bit of... I don't know what to... You guys comment and say what it is. I don't know. She's just so proud, and I'm proud of her too. Listen, I don't have a doctorate, so what are you guys going to say about, her degrees and everything? And if you didn't know she had 4 degrees, she'll tell you. Let me tell you that. But it's like now she's talking about how her middle name means she came from God or something like that. I'm not sure, but just Ashley is full of... I can't even do it. Eye rolls. Oh yeah, wait. Before we actually end the dinner, Karen calls out Gizelle for really not bringing around Jamal too much, actually at all. She calls him the man that lives in Gizelle's phone, and she wonders, hey Gizelle, why do you get to go around and judge all of us and kind of cherry pick what you want, whichever topics, and completely rip our names through the mud? Like, she's gone after Karen time and time again, but then you don't come with any information on your behalf, like on your side. What is going on in your life? Why do you really get to sit back and judge all of us, but we don't know anything about you? And honestly, I kind of agree with Karen. Wendy's quick to jump in and say, hey, listen, the husbands can't always come around because they're booked, but Karen's kind of like, sit down. This doesn't have anything to do with you. Sit down. You can totally tell Karen is so over Dr. Wendy Osefo. Gizelle's obviously not going to respond to this well, though, because, guys, we know Gizelle, and she freaks out, especially when she's not in control of the narrative, and if it's something to do with her, hers, or her family. It's just, you're not going to get away with it. And Gizelle just immediately says, hey, listen, don't worry about it. We're doing us. We're working it out. Why would I bring him around this group of women anyways? And Karen's like, her face was just kind of stuck in some sort of way. And Gizelle's like, you're not sleeping with him, so what does it matter? And Karen was like, thank the Lord. But Gizelle was super defensive, I do have to say that. I don't know if you guys caught this episode, though, but did you see Robin kind of go against her? I don't want to call Gizelle her puppet master, but did you see Robin stand up against Gizelle? Kind of. She still flew under the radar. She knows not to touch Gizelle's buttons too much because that's pretty much her end of the show. But Robin sat there and said, it's kind of true. You don't really bring him around or talk about him or do any of that. And Gizelle's face is like, Robin, what are you doing? Don't go against the family. Uh-oh, Robin. Better be careful before you're no longer a housewife. So as the ladies go back to the room, of course, we're going to get the nightcaps from everybody, and we go straight to Ashley Darby. Ashley's trying to call and get a hold of her babysitter to find out. Well, actually, she wasn't trying to find out anything. She was just trying to FaceTime her baby before her baby went to sleep. But it's 7-Eleven, and Michael Darby is nowhere to be found. She calls Michael, and Michael said, hey, I was at a meeting. You can't do this to me. You can't sit here and call and harass me. He used another word, but I'm not going to say that word. He's pretty much pointing out how obnoxious this is. But technically, Michael Darby, you're the one who lost everybody's trust, meaning Ashley's trust. And of course, she's going to be sketched out if you're not where you're supposed to be on time. There's been multiple times where you've committed infidelity, and even though you guys had an open relationship, it still has terms. So if you're out hooking up with somebody when you're supposed to be taking care of baby Dean, which I guess he wasn't, so that's a good thing, obviously Ashley would have a problem with that, right? I don't know, guys. I just find this to be so sketchy. I find his behavior just a little odd, but I really love Ashley Darby. I think she's a great fit. She's super forthcoming with all of her secrets in her life and what she talks about. And did you guys, by the way, pick up on the fact that Monique actually knew that Ashley had an open relationship? She kept her mouth shut the whole time. She never spilled on this topic. She protected Ashley and Michael when the whole butt grabbing thing was going on. And Ashley's pretty much saying that the Samuels were always there for the Darbys. And for that reason, that's why Ashley Darby wrote the letter. But let's go back to the nightcaps. Gizelle and Robin have the nightcap, and this could have went so bad. But again, Robin knows how to fly under the radar, and she was just like, listen, I wasn't attacking you, because Gizelle was like, what were you thinking? And Robin was just simply pointing out, hey, if you are proud of him, like we all share our men and everything like that, then why wouldn't you want to bring him around? I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings or anything, but Karen kind of does have a point. But to Karen's point, she's like, hey, why do we all have to bring this information to the table, but then you get to skate by, you don't have to put anything on the table, and you get to criticize everyone? It is a point. Okay, guys, so now we're waking up, and it's our next day in Madeira, but we start off with Candace and her affirmation post-its. So her therapist told her to have words of affirmation like, you're strong, you're beautiful, you love yourself, you can do this, you can do anything. And apparently write these on post-its and put them everywhere in the house, like it's an accent piece or something. So that's exactly what Candace did in the previous episode, and that's what she's doing all over her hotel room this time. Now, guys, I was going to ask you this really quick. Comment below, let me know, but do you think that this is going a little bit too far? Is this too much, or does everybody have their own process, which we're all trying to understand? I'm trying to understand, and maybe honestly this really does help Candace. I don't know. She says it helps her. Actually, Candace said that they create comfort and solace. I'm not judging her though, because honestly, if somebody grabbed me and yanked me over the counter, I would probably have my own ways of dealing with it too. So I'm not knocking her. Again, guys, that next morning, Karen comes to Ashley's humble abode that has all the views of Madeira. And of course, she's the one hosting this, right? Hosting it. So she would have the best room. I wonder how Bravo decides who hosts these things and stuff. I mean, you know, a lot of these cast trips are paid for. So anyways, we'll get to that on another video. When Karen and Ashley sit down, they both have something to talk about, but Ashley asks Karen, you know, you really went after Gizelle last night. And Karen was like, no, I'm just asking, you know, like, about Jamal, where's Jamal, kind of like that. And Ashley's like, no, you're like, where's Jamal, kind of being super sketchy. But Ashley, be careful, because Karen was sticking up for you, and I think the only reason she brought up Jamal in the first place was because Gizelle was starting to get a little bit messy on Michael and Ashley's behalf. So you gotta be careful, Ashley. Ashley also ends up telling Karen that she had a little bit of a minor breakdown last night with the misunderstanding with Michael Darby, because he was 11, 12, 15, 20, 30, however many minutes late. And to Karen, that's alarming. Karen's like, you're having mental breakdowns or like these little emotional breakdowns because your husband is a few minutes late. Like, that shouldn't happen. But obviously there's not a lot of trust at that point in this relationship, so it's happening. Ashley thinks that Karen also is holding a check, that she's been holding onto a check for Gizelle and waiting to cash it, pretty much because Gizelle has gone after her time and time again with the tax reform. I mean, the husband, Gizelle, there are no boundaries, especially when you sign that housewives contract. Gizelle just follows them through. So if there's a little bit of shade to deliver there, she's going to bring the umbrella and give you the shade. And that just is what it is. Okay, so now we keep it moving and we get on the cable cars. We're going to go through a walk through the market. We're going to go to some more lunch or whatever. And then we go to the confessionals and Karen's like, I love the city of Portugal. Yeah, I love the fact that Bravo is shady and says not a city, it's a country. Karen, come on, you can do better than that. Maybe this is why Dr. Wendy Osefo is so offended when you're sitting there making fun of her doctorate or questioning her doctorate, but you don't technically know that Portugal is a country. I'm starting to really like Karen, so I don't know how to defend this, so I'm just going to keep it moving. Now, if I'm sitting at a lunch and I'm Dr. Wendy Osefo with all of these housewives, what do I want to talk about? Maybe my 4 degrees again. Yes, guys, that's right. Dr. Wendy Osefo brings up the 4 degrees again. The very topic that she said that they were putting a button on, she wants to unbutton. And like Karen, when she said OF, I'm like kind of thinking the same thing a little bit. I'm like, not again. Robin's like, not again. Gizelle's like, not again. Ashley's like, not again. By the way, she has the pump hooked up and she's just modern day mom over there, just kind of doing her thing, pumping at the table, which, hey, listen, it's 2020. Nobody should be surprised by stuff like this anymore. But leave her alone. She's a new mom away from her baby. Give Ashley some space. Karen ends up calling out Gizelle again, saying that, hey, when I was asking you yesterday about Jamal, it comes from a place of love because, you know, if we bring up the topic of Jamal, it's just to let you know that if you ever need us, we're here for you. But Gizelle immediately is like, no, that is not the way that you brought it up. And she starts immediately just going in. Again, being defensive. She pretty much puts a button on this conversation with Karen, just like Dr. Wendy Osefo did, by picking up her phone and being like, FaceTime, Jamal. Hey, Jamal. Hey, say hi to Karen. Hey, say hi to Ashley. Hey, say hi to Dr. Wendy. Hey, and just saying to say hi to everybody. And they just pretty much said, hey, Gizelle just told you to shut the heck up, Karen. Honestly, to me, though, that didn't do anything. That doesn't say anything. Karen even said that doesn't say anything. She's like, you just proved something that we already know, that you're with a man that lives in her phone. That it's kind of just seemed like a deflection a little bit. Again, guys, I don't want to sit there and be too judgy or anything, but did you guys think that was a little bit of a deflection? I know you guys are going to tell me anyway, so comment below, let me know, because I'm curious what you guys think about that. I do have to say, though, I agree with Karen, and I know I keep saying this, but why does Gizelle get to kind of dabble in everybody else's business but not have to talk about her own? You know, some people will say that's not necessarily true because we see where her dad walks out of the restaurant when he sits down with Jamal and she's navigating that relationship from long distance. Again, Gizelle said that they're 8 states away and they're trying to do their best to be this new modern day family, I guess. So to Gizelle's point, she's like, my husband has a job and he's states away. That's why he's not around. What more do you want? And to Karen's point, she's like, no, you're not going to give us these vague answers and kind of dance around the subject and not be forthcoming, or else don't be a part of this group. And again, guys, this is The Real Housewives. If you're not going to talk about it, then you just got to get out. Guys, we know Gizelle's not going anywhere, so I'm sure eventually some things are going to be talked about, but we'll just have to wait and see. If you missed this episode, definitely go check it out. It was a really good episode, but in the meantime, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because you guys don't want to miss anything that we have coming up. All right, guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching Up and Adam.